And hello, one and all, and welcome to my WWE Smackdown live review. We're going to be covering all of the results that took place on tonight's edition of Smackdown, the first ever live Smackdown, um, and the WWE Draft 2016. Obviously, a lot that took place on tonight's edition of Smackdown. The picks that went to both Raw and SmackDown, respectively. Just finished watching the extra hour of coverage on the WWE Network. So now I'm here to give you my full thoughts and opinions on how I thought the draft went and which brand overall I thought had the better night overall. So we're going to go and examine each of the picks made tonight, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on, like I said, which brand made out better of the two. So we start with Raw. The number one pick, Raw got the number one pick, and it was Seth Rollins. I think this is a tremendous pick. You can't go wrong with Seth Rollins. He is one of the best wrestlers, if not the best wrestler in WWE today, and I think it's a strong, solid pick for Raw. From there, we had Charlotte being drafted to Raw, the women's champion. Great pick there. What more can you say about Charlotte? Great to see her on Raw. We also had at pick number five for Raw, Finn Balor. This was a great pick. When I heard Finn Balor's name announced, I was so excited. I was like, yes, next Monday night, I get to see the Demon arrive, make his Raw debut in Pittsburgh. I will be at Raw in Pittsburgh next Monday, so I'll be providing special coverage for that on my channel here. But it was great to see Finn Balor make his long-awaited debut to the main roster. So that was a great pick right there. From then we move on to pick number 6, Roman Reigns. He's not a good guy. He's not a bad guy. He's a Raw guy. Roman Reigns remains on Raw. So it'd be interesting to see, how this mix of talent, you have Reigns, Rollins, Finn Balor, and we also have pick number 8 was Brock Lesnar. And what I found interesting was that Brock Lesnar was drafted to Raw while Randy Orton was drafted to SmackDown. So it really intrigues me to see how they will, keep the build up going for their feud heading into SummerSlam, with both Orton being on SmackDown and Lesnar likewise being on Raw. Further picks, number 10 was the New Day. Great pick for Raw. To build the base for your tag team division on Raw. They are the current tag team champions. So that Raw has the women's champion, the tag team champions. Raw also got pick number 11 was Sami Zayn. Great pick right there. Pick number 13 for Raw was the Boss, Sasha Banks. So likely going to be seeing Sasha Banks versus Charlotte for the women's championship, hopefully at SummerSlam. Cannot wait for that. So both Sasha and Charlotte are on the same show. Pick number 14, solid addition in Chris Jericho, great veteran to have around, and we get to hear him shout "stupid idiot" to people. So good pick in all, and Chris Jericho for the Raw brand. Pick number 16, Rusev with Lana. So the United States Championship ended up staying on Raw. Likewise, The Miz was drafted to SmackDown. That's how I saw things playing out. I figured the U.S. title would go to Raw. The IC title would go to SmackDown. Further looking at these picks, Kevin Owens for Raw, pick number 18, great pick, KO. And I find it intriguing that both Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are on the same brand. So might we see their feud culminate at SummerSlam? That's where I personally like to see it end. And as my good friend Mike Gregario said, shout out to him, he suggested having them blow off their feud in an I Quit match. So, Mike, you might just get your wish, but we'll have to see about that. We have pick number 20, which was Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. Realest guys in the room. Don't want to be a couple haters, but, certified G and a bona fide stud, and they're taking it to Monday Night Raw. So, great pick right there. We have a surprising pick, number 21, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. So, splitting up the club. AJ Styles went to SmackDown. The club goes to Raw. When I instantly heard that, it got me to think, does that mean that the Balor Club might come to fruition because Finn Balor is on Raw and Anderson and Gallows are on Raw now? So it would only be logical if that would happen. So we'll have to see how things play out. Of course, really excited for Raw on Monday. Cannot wait to see what WWE has in store. We have pick number 23 to Raw. The Big Show, don't care. Pick number 25, Nia Jax. Surprising to see Nia picked above Bayley, although I'll get to my theory about Bayley later on. Nia Jax, I think, is a good pick. I still think she should have stayed a little bit longer in developmental, to give her time to grow as a performer, as a wrestler, but not mad at all about seeing her on the main roster. She'll be a good addition to the Raw Women's Division. Pick number 26, Neville. Great pick there. How can you not love Neville? High flyer, great action. He might fit very well if they choose to have him, simply as in the singles division or in the cruiserweight division. Wherever they have Neville, I'm perfectly fine with. Pick number 28 was Cesaro. Great pick. Hopefully they see with the potential in Cesaro and push him to the moon. Cesaro, great strength. He definitely has plenty of charisma. He cut a tremendous promo on the third hour portion on the WWE Network for the draft. Really spoke from the heart, talked about how he does have charisma, how he is a tremendous wrestler, and how he will bring his A game to Monday Night Raw. So if you haven't seen that promo from Cesaro, check it out. It was really good stuff, but good pick right there. And pick number 30 for Raw was Sheamus. This was only, I'm going through the televised portion, so we still have the network portion to go through. And that rounds out the TV portion for Raw. On the SmackDown side of things, their first overall pick was Dean Ambrose, the WWE champion. Great pick here. What more can you say? Dean Ambrose brings the WWE title after successfully beating Seth Rollins on SmackDown for the WWE title in a pretty good main event match. Pick number 4 was AJ Styles. Phenomenal pick, no pun intended. And with pick number 4 later on, pick number 7 was John Cena. Cena makes his way to SmackDown, so we will be seeing Styles and Cena continue their feud on SmackDown. So I'm looking forward to seeing Styles versus Cena too at SummerSlam. Might it be for the new SmackDown, or it could be for the WWE Championship? We'll have to wait and see. If Ambrose loses it and it goes to Raw, then Shane McMahon might create a tournament and have it culminate at SummerSlam. So we'll have to see how everything plays out. But I think it's great to have Cena on SmackDown. Really helps bring the star power. Likewise, Randy Orton was announced as being on SmackDown as well. A huge name there, so some big picks for SmackDown. SmackDown also got Bray Wyatt. Great pick there. You could really build the SmackDown brand around Bray Wyatt. He needs to win the WWE Championship, and now I think if we're going to have 2 championships, now would be the opportunity to put that title on a Bray Wyatt. So good pick right there. Pick number 14 in the overall draft was Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch goes to SmackDown. Love Becky Lynch, the Irish lash kicker. Tough to say that. But great to see Becky go to SmackDown. And she's one of my favorite in the women's division, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what is in store for Becky Lynch. And pick number 16, as I mentioned, was The Miz. He brings the Intercontinental Championship to SmackDown. Pick number 18 in the overall draft was Baron Corbin. I really like this pick. I see the potential and value in Baron Corbin. I do see him as a future champion. And I feel like this brand split he will be one of the guys that will definitely benefit from it in the long run. So I'm happy to see Baron Corbin go to SmackDown. A huge pick was at number 22 overall. It was the American Alpha. Marked down when I heard this. I was like, yes, we are ready, willing, and able. They're taking over Tuesday nights on SmackDown. It will definitely give me a reason to tune in. One of the hottest, one of the best tag teams in all of WWE is the American Alpha, and they are going to tear shit up on Tuesday Night Smackdown. Pick number 24 was Dolph Ziggler. This might be a good opportunity for Dolph to revive himself because he's really been just lost in the shuffle for the last year or two. So, and I feel like a heel turn would be necessary. He could be a good mid-card to upper mid-card heel on SmackDown, so we'll have to see where things are going for the show-off, but Dolph Ziggler to SmackDown. Pick numbers 27 was Natalya, good veteran pick for the women's division. No problem there. Her and Becky can continue their feud heading forward. And pick number 29 is Alberto Del Rio. So you got a good in-ring competitor there. And then we move over to the picks that both Raw and SmackDown made on the WWE network. I'll go through the SmackDown side of things first for you. SmackDown made the picks of the Usos, a good tag team right there. Kane, Kalisto, really like that pick for SmackDown. I see great potential in Kalisto as potentially the next heir apparent to, like what Rey Mysterio was to the WWE. I can see Kalisto, maybe not on Rey's level, but having the potential to at least have that opportunity to, just give him an opportunity. Kalisto really was, he never really got a shot as U.S. champion. I was not a fan of his title reign. Don't blame him. But I hope with the brand split, he is another guy that I could see getting a great opportunity, benefiting from it. Going to SmackDown, we also have Naomi. I've been a fan of Naomi, been a fan of hers for a long time now, and I think she will also benefit from the brand split. The Ascension also goes to SmackDown. Dear God, are they in need of a revamp? Just have them be the dominant ass-kicking team that they were from NXT. Yeah, they're not the greatest in-ring workers, but they were able to become the longest-reigning NXT Tag Team Champions, and I think they could be a solid addition to the SmackDown Tag Team division. So the Ascension to SmackDown. Zack Ryder also goes to SmackDown, and joining him is Mojo Rawley from NXT. Not sure if they're going to keep them both in single stars or have them together as the Hype Bros. So we'll have to see where that goes. Apollo Crews to SmackDown. Really like this pick. Big fan of Apollo Crews. I thought he would be a great fit for the Blue brand. Definitely see him as a future champion, whether it's the IC champion or a future WWE heavyweight champion down the line. But Apollo Crews, in my opinion, was a great pick for SmackDown. Rounding out the picks here, we had Alexa Bliss, another call-up from NXT. Huge fan of Alexa Bliss. So glad to see her joining the women's division on SmackDown, and I definitely see big and better things ahead for for Alexa Bliss heading up from NXT. We have Breezango being drafted to SmackDown. I was disappointed in this one. I was really hoping they'd split them up and give Tyler Breeze the opportunity to have a singles push, because he never really got that opportunity once he was called up to the main roster. He kind of floundered with the way that he was booked to lose and lose and lose. Felt like the draft would be the right time to have him go on his own, focus on him, whether on Raw or SmackDown. But they're choosing to have him together with Breezango, so I'm not a big fan of that decision. Eva Marie was drafted to SmackDown. The Vaudevillains were drafted to SmackDown. Eric Rowan was drafted to SmackDown. So he will be remaining with Bray Wyatt. And rounding out the picks for NXT, we have Carmella, who was drafted to SmackDown. So that is your SmackDown roster. Overall, I think it is a solid roster for a 2-hour show. And I'll talk about the picks that were made for Raw on the WWE Network. But yeah, I really like this SmackDown roster. I really like the additions of AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, Cena, Orton. There are a number of good names: Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin. I'm looking forward to watching SmackDown, so that is a positive. WWE definitely got me to tune in there. So yeah, what more can you say? SmackDown is definitely looking much better than it has in quite a while. So, and once I'm able to pull up the Raw results from the WWE Network, I will go through them for you. Just give me some time here. But yeah, as I continue to look for that, yeah, the results, here we go. We have for Raw on the televised portion for the network. We had the Golden Truth going to Raw. We also had Titus O'Neil going to Raw. Like that pick. Big fan of Titus O'Neil. Paige went to Raw. Huge fan of Paige. So hopefully she gets the opportunity to shine in the women's division on Raw. We have Darren Young with Mr. Bob Backlund. So might we see the IC title go to SmackDown, and Raw and the US title go to SmackDown at Battleground. That could be a possibility if both Darren Young and Zack Ryder win their respective matches. We have Sin Cara going to Raw. Jack Swagger going to Raw. The Dudley Boys remain together going to Raw. Summer Rae going to Raw. Mark Henry going to Raw. Braun Strowman going to Raw, so splitting up from the Wyatt family. Bo Dallas going to Raw. Shining Stars to Raw. Alicia Fox to Raw. Dana Brooke to Raw. and Curtis Axel to Raw. So that rounded out the superstars that were drafted to both Raw and SmackDown, respectively. We didn't have any announcer shakeup. It looked like they used the same stage setup tonight for SmackDown. Really hoping they would change up the look and feel of SmackDown. Maybe they're saving it for next week's episode. We'll have to see where that goes. But yeah, overall, I feel like, Raw did get the advantage due to it being 3 hours, and therefore they have more picks. But I feel like SmackDown still has a fairly strong roster, and so does Raw. So while it may look unbalanced, I'm still willing to give it a chance and an opportunity, and I'm excited to be tuning into both shows. We'll see where WWE goes and takes these brands headed in the near future. We have the Cruiserweights back on Raw. We have a pay-per-view coming up on Sunday, Battleground, NXT, the Cruiserweight Classics tomorrow. All in all, it's an exciting week to be a pro wrestling fan, and the more pro wrestling, the better. But yeah, guys, I enjoyed the draft tonight. It was fun to watch. I'm not going to grade it since it really was, there wasn't too much other than the drafting of the superstars. We did have a title match, some other matches on SmackDown, but it was really all about the draft. So those are my thoughts and opinions on the WWE Draft 2016. Guys, let me know down in the comment section below what you thought of the draft. And also, before I forget, don't be alarmed. Bayley will be making her presence felt on the main roster. I can guarantee it. Either she will be Sasha's mystery partner at Battleground, or I have a feeling we will see her make her debut on Raw after SummerSlam. The Raw at the Barclays Center after SummerSlam. Still predicting that to happen. So don't worry. Bayley is coming to the main roster. I'm not worried at all. So thank you all for tuning in, like I said, for this live WWE Smackdown review. And stay tuned for my next video. Tomorrow, my review for the Cruiserweight Classic and NXT. And also be on the lookout probably on Thursday or Friday, my Battleground predictions and previews video. And then, of course, my live Battleground review will be up at 11:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So once again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, guys, peace.